video, and in today's video I want to talk about the latest rumours from from the Switch 2 camp. And if you've been following my channel or you've been following the news, you'll know that we're having rumours for the Switch 2 and leaks on a daily basis. It's getting a bit almost hard to keep up with. So Switch 2, we know that they're going to make it. That's pretty much what Nintendo told us early last year. We know that it's going to be before the end of this financial year, so by the end of April, and that is about it. The only official thing we know is that it's going to be backward compatible with current Switch games, but that doesn't stop the rumour mill from floating around and bringing out got everything under the sun. We've had prototype leaks, we've had Joy-Con leaks, we've had this is what a case is going to look like, etc., etc. And it is getting just a bit hard to keep up with. But the latest one, or before that, we've had numerous predicted dates. So we had that there was possibly a Christmas Day announcement, nothing came of it. We had a possible January the 8th announcement, nothing came of it. But January 8th did bring us the CES 2025 leaks, rumours, what we call them, prototypes, case designs, etc. But now we've got another one. So it was supposed to be an 8th of January announcement with a 28th of March release. That's still possible. I mean, 28th is still a possibility. But the new rumour is that it's going to be a 3rd of March 2025 release. That's a release date, so we should get something concrete from Nintendo very shortly. That particular date does kind of hold a little bit of nostalgia, because the 3rd of March 2017 is when Nintendo released the first Switch. So bringing that out on the same date, it's a possibility. It fits in the realm of the dates or the scope that it needs to be. But the other big thing is that there has been talk of Mario Kart 9 being for the Switch 2, because technically the Switch didn't get its own version of Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 was released on the Wii U, and then a deluxe version was released on the Switch. It's massively successful, but it just feels like the Switch didn't really get its own version of Mario Kart. It was a rebadged and a repackaged version of the Wii U game. So Mario Kart 9 has been talked about previously. There were rumours that somewhere the number 9 was bandied around with the Switch 2, and people were tying that to Mario Kart 9. Now we're being told that it's a possibility that Mario Kart 9 could be a launch title, which is a bit odd. I don't understand why Nintendo are so tight-lipped about things. Other companies, they like to drip feed you a little bit of information, try and sort of build up that hype, whereas Nintendo go the other way, and they keep everything hush hush. They leave all of the rumours sort of unanswered, and so we don't actually know anything apart from it's going to be out before the end of April, for mid-April, and that it's going to be backward compatible. And then over especially the last few weeks, things have really ramped up with Switch 2 rumours. Like I say, case designs. We pretty much, if we're going by what we've seen so far, know what the Switch 2 is going to look like, its size, possible processing power. And these Mario Kart 9 rumours, it needs to be. I think it probably could be a good thing. When the Switch originally launched, it was a bit of a weak lineup start. Not very many games. I think one of those was Bomberman R, and coming off the back of a very unsuccessful Wii U, you'd have thought Nintendo would have really pushed for some big launch titles. They were taking a big risk with the Switch, whereas it's less of a risk this time. You've got a very successful Switch. You've got a huge user base, with at least, I'm going to say at least 20% of those gonna jump to the Switch 2 automatically. Given it backward compatibility, that means the Switch 2 is going to hit the ground running with a huge amount of games to play. But it does need some momentum. They need a reason to jump from the Switch. The Switch is very successful. It's got a huge library. I don't see that ending any time. There's going to be a massive sort of crossover period of games being released for the Switch and the Switch 2. So Nintendo do need something big to pull people across from the Switch to the Switch 2. Backward compatibility is a big one, but they need some big launch titles. And the possibility of Mario Kart 9 as a launch title, that is quite a it's quite a good thing. It would give a big title. It would make the Switch 2 hit the ground running. They need to bolster that with some other titles. Otherwise, people are just gonna carry on with the Switch. Now, will Mario Kart 9 be a Switch 2 only title? That is a big question. I think Nintendo would be... I don't know. What we don't want is a PS4, PS5 scenario where they're 5 years into a life and they're still releasing games on both platforms. But I can't see Nintendo... maybe Nintendo, but I can't see third-party developers instantly shutting off the Switch. They want to milk that platform for as much as they can, and I think the Switch will then become more like the budget version of the Switch 2. So there's going to be a lot of games from the Switch that's on the Switch 2 that will also run on the Switch. Could we see the Switch 2 as being like a Switch Pro, where most games will run on the Switch, but they get an enhanced experience on the Switch 2? There are a lot of questions here, but the big question is, will Mario Kart 9 be a launch title? Is there even a Mario Kart 9? That's something we're not even entirely sure of, but Mario Kart 9, a launch title, it would be a big thing for the Switch 2. It would pull a lot of people across from the Switch, but that also depends on whether Nintendo allows Mario Kart 9 to run on the original Switch. I can't see that. There's got to be... It is a little bit of a catch-22. They need to pull across people from the Switch to the Switch 2, so exclusive titles would do that, but they don't want to cut off their existing fan base by saying, well, we've released the Switch 2, you can all get lost now. So let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to see the Switch 2 anytime soon? We know that it's going to be released before the end of April, but we still haven't had an announcement. The big rumour there is that we should hear something before the end of January officially from Nintendo. And what kind of launch titles do you think it's going to be? There's possibility of things like Red Dead Redemption 2 as a launch title, but we know that the Switch and the Switch 2, they're underpowered in comparison. The Switch has had a lot of remakes from PS3, Xbox 360 era brought across. The rumours are that the Switch 2 is going to be PS4 quality at least, so that means we're going to see a lot of PS4 titles brought across. But we can't rely on the Switch 2 as just having remakes. So we need some big titles, some exclusive titles, some very powerful games. I mean, some of the Zelda games on the current Switch really sort of push the platform and push the hardware. So the Switch 2 needs some big names of its own. It needs more than just remakes, remasters, and it needs some Switch 2 exclusive titles to make it worthwhile people upgrading, and especially at launch. If they release Mario Kart 9 for both systems, people are going to look at that and go, I can play that on my Switch, I don't need a Switch 2. But what Nintendo don't want to do is go, everything we've got now is going to be for the Switch 2, goodbye Switch users, because that's going to alienate people, I think. And we know that third-party developers are not going to follow suit, so there's going to be a lot of third-party games still on the Switch. a year, 2 years into the Switch 2 life. It's a risk. The Switch is such a big and what's the word I'm looking for? Powerful? Nope. A big successful console that they want to eke as much as they can out of that while pushing people towards the new hardware. And they don't want a Sony situation. I don't think. Sony have got the PS4 and the PS5 pretty much running side by side still, and they have said that when the PS6 comes out, the PS5 is going to run aside it. Maybe that is the new thing. Maybe because consoles these days are just a lot more powerful and decent. Maybe Nintendo will have the Switch and the Switch 2 running beside each other. But that is going to knock on sales for the Switch 2, I think. We need something that is... It's going to be exclusive, it's going to be wow, and Nintendo don't just go bigger and better. They will bring something new to the Switch 2 that the Switch doesn't have. Touchscreen on the DS, motion controls on the Wii U, on the Wii, sorry, gamepad on the Wii U, hybridness on the Switch. Nintendo always bring this sort of uniqueness that they don't necessarily rely on big, powerful devices. So, yeah, Switch 2, could we see Mario Kart 9? And if we do, is it going to be a Switch 2 exclusive? There are also talks of things like Halo being ported across to the Switch 2. Nintendo don't want to make another Wii U mistake. They want a successor to the Switch that is just as powerful or just as successful. And to do that, they're going to have to bring in some big name games. And I think as much as we love Nintendo and all of their sort of Zelda, Pokemon, Kirby, Mario, Metroid, they have expanded in the last generation into bringing the Switch is a more all-rounder console rather than just a cutesy sort of child-friendly Nintendo-happy machine. We've had things like Doom and Doom Eternal. If we were to see the likes of Halo and Call of Duty on the Switch 2, then I think it's just going to be an absolute beast of a machine. But all of this is all subjective, it's all rumours, it's all opinions, and the subject of this video really is, could we see Mario Kart 9 on the Switch 2, and could we see that as a launch title? Let me know what you think. Link, like, enjoy, subscribe, enjoy.